Does it ever happen that you return from your job feeling absolutely spent, even if nothing dramatic occurred? There were no missed goals, no confrontations, just a standard, seemingly uneventful workday. Perhaps a colleague was speaking a bit too loudly, their voice grating on your nerves. Your manager seemed slightly stressed, their anxiety palpable and infectious. Your smartphone wouldn't stop vibrating, each buzz a tiny jolt to your system. A mountain of unread alerts slowly accumulated, pressing down on your shoulders, until you felt the urge to just disconnect and vanish, to escape the relentless demands. Meanwhile, everyone else in the office appears perfectly fine, seemingly unfazed. They are sharing jokes, chatting away, finishing tasks as if the environment is perfectly calm. You begin to question yourself. Am I simply oversensitive? A flaw in my own making? In response, you attempt to fix your personality, trying to develop a thicker skin. Or force yourself to stop overanalyzing everything, to simply let things go. However, the harder you push to be normal, the more drained and exhausted you become. This is the point where the majority of people misunderstand the situation entirely. The issue isn't that you are too sensitive. That's a common misconception. The real problem is that you are attempting to exist in a setting fundamentally incompatible. Incompatible with how your biological nervous system operates, a deep mismatch. In this video, we are going to explore how to truly flourish and thrive, not by transforming your core identity, but by constructing a personal greenhouse. Once you grasp this concept, you will see your traits are actually your most significant advantages. To start this process of creating your greenhouse, we must adopt a different perspective. A totally different perspective on human worth, valuing diversity in our responses. There is a fascinating concept proposed by Dr. Thomas Boyce, a specialist. His research suggests people generally fall into two primary categories based on environmental reactions. The first group, which includes most of the population, is often likened to dandelions. These individuals are incredibly resilient and flexible, able to adapt easily. They can flourish in almost any setting, even when conditions are far from perfect. They aren't deeply swayed by the shifts around them, maintaining their inner calm. This consistency allows them to maintain the routines, industries, and systems of society. However, there is a second group, and there is a high chance you belong to it. Frequently compared to orchids, delicate yet profoundly beautiful. They aren't less capable, just more reactive to their environment. Your nervous system responds more intensely to your surroundings, processing deeply, analyzes data more thoroughly, sifting through every detail, and detects more nuances, picking up on the subtle shifts others miss. While others might overlook minor changes, you notice them immediately. This ranges from lighting, a sudden glare or dimness, affecting your comfort, and background noise, the incessant hum or distant chatter, becoming overwhelming, to the very subtle emotional transitions in the people you interact with. But here is a point you must understand clearly. This isn't a hierarchy of who is superior. The actual distinction is found in how each group develops and thrives. Dandelions, representing the majority, can thrive nearly anywhere because they are so adaptable. They are the resilient generalists, able to find sustenance even in challenging conditions. Orchids, however, function very differently. They cannot simply grow in any random spot. They require specific, carefully curated circumstances to reach their highest potential. If you try to force yourself to live by the expectations of the dandelion majority, you will only end up more depleted, drained of your energy and spirit. This isn't because you are fragile. It's because that specific environment doesn't align with your internal mechanics. So, why were we created with such a high-maintenance nervous system? The explanation is found in a biological idea known as evolutionary mismatch. Think of your nervous system as a high-precision sensor calibrated thousands of years ago. In a silent, natural setting, that heightened sensitivity was a vital survival tool. It allowed our predecessors to hear a twig snap from a great distance, or find the scent of a medicinal plant in a thick forest. You were the guardian of the group, the person who perceived what others overlooked. It was a tranquil world with very little overstimulation. However, modern society has evolved too quickly, and your nervous system hasn't had time to catch up. Reflect on the last time you spent time in an open-plan office. There are video calls, side conversations, and a constant stream of digital pings. You attempt to concentrate, but every few moments, your focus is hijacked. By lunchtime, you haven't checked much off your list, yet your brain feels as though it has completed a marathon. Everything around you carries on as usual, and you start to feel like an outsider. That is the exact moment you require a fresh strategy. Rather than trying to alter the orchid seed within you, we are going to build a greenhouse around it. This greenhouse isn't a retreat to hide from the world. It is a method for deliberately crafting the right conditions so you can step back into the world as your best self. Studies indicate that while highly sensitive people, or HSPs, might struggle more in harsh environments, they actually have the capacity to thrive even more than others in supportive ones. Within a greenhouse, the orchid doesn't just hang on, it begins to bloom into its full glory. So, today, we are going to stop the futile attempt to toughen up. Instead, we will begin constructing that greenhouse right now using 2 actionable strategies. Strategy number 1 involves managing your nervous system, a crucial first step. The initial and most vital step in building your greenhouse is to conduct a rigorous audit. An audit of everything you absorb daily, from sounds to sights to sensations. In the field of psychology, this is referred to as a sensory diet. Just as your food choices impact your physical fitness and well-being, what your senses take in dictates your energy levels and mental clarity. A highly sensitive individual must curate their sensory diet with extreme care. Let's be realistic. This modern world is far too loud for your system. You arrive at your workplace, and every tapping key or snippet of office gossip slowly tightens the tension in your mind, creating a subtle, growing pressure. Stop trying to just deal with it. That approach rarely works long-term. The easiest solution is to put on some headphones. They don't need to be top of the line, they just need to establish an auditory boundary for you. If you are in a packed area and feel your head beginning to swim, walk away immediately. Don't hesitate or question your need to escape. Don't force yourself to stay just because you're worried about looking strange. You aren't weak. The environment simply has more data than your system can process. You don't owe anyone an apology for needing a space that actually fits your needs. However, just blocking out the bad stuff isn't enough for your sensitive system. You also require a dedicated space for restoration, what I call a rapid reset zone. This doesn't need to be elaborate or complicated. It could be a vacant restroom, offering a moment of solitude, perhaps a quiet back stairwell away from the office hustle, or even just sitting in your vehicle in the parking lot, a personal sanctuary. The technique is straightforward and easy to implement. When you notice your mind going blank, or you become easily annoyed, pay attention. That is your clear signal of sensory overload, a warning from your system. Move to that quiet spot immediately for 3 to 5 minutes. During this crucial interval, do not touch your smartphone. Checking social media, like Facebook or Instagram right now, is counterproductive. It's like drinking salt water to quench thirst. It only dehydrates your mental energy further. Just sit in silence and observe your breath, a simple anchor. Allow your nervous system to cool down, like an overheated engine. Once you have cleared out the sensory toxins and established a place for rest, the next phase of building your greenhouse is to proactively include things that feed your senses. Take a look around your daily environment. Do you dedicate at least 10 minutes each day to viewing natural greenery or sunlight? Your brain requires those organic patterns to recalibrate your emotions and find balance. Regarding touch, be extremely selective about your clothing choices. A scratchy fabric or a stiff collar tag can quietly sap your energy all day. You might not even realize the true cause of your discomfort. Opt for the softest materials possible against your skin. When you return home, try using a weighted blanket for comfort. The consistent, gentle pressure signals to your nervous system that it is safe to finally let go of the day's stress. For sound, if you've been bombarded by traffic and machinery noises, fill your home with the soothing sounds of rainfall, gentle waves, or instrumental tracks. These frequencies have a genuine restorative effect on a frazzled mind, like a gentle balm. Aesthetic beauty isn't some unnecessary luxury. It's a vital component. It recharges your battery faster than any supplement could, boosting your spirit. To finish this nervous system protocol, there is one minor habit that can change everything. It's called a digital fast, a period of intentional disconnection. Your phone is consuming more of your vitality than you realize, silently draining you. If possible, turn your screen to grayscale mode, reducing visual intensity. Removing those vivid colors lowers the amount of stimulation your brain receives every time you look at it. Keep the device far away during your precious rest periods. Don't allow digital notifications to dictate your heart rate and mood the second you wake up. Resist the urge to immediately check your phone first thing in the morning. Instead, choose to start your day on your own terms, not the internet's. Keep in mind that you are the master of technology, not its servant. Don't let it turn you into a person who is perpetually on edge. Take control of your digital consumption and reclaim your peace. This small change can lead to significant improvements in your overall well-being. By curating your sensory diet, you build a resilient inner greenhouse, a sanctuary where your sensitive soul can truly flourish and thrive. Once you have organized the physical aspects of your greenhouse, you must address the second layer. This layer often leaks the most energy: your relationships. Your primary challenge is this: you don't merely observe other people's feelings. You carry them home with you, like a sponge. You absorb the grief, irritation, and stress of everyone in your vicinity. Perhaps you've felt this drain after a long day of meetings or social events. You aren't tired because the tasks were difficult. You're tired because you've been processing the emotions of the entire department. To build your psychological greenhouse, you must stop shoulder carrying the feelings of others. We frequently mistake empathy for taking on someone else's baggage. When you see a friend in pain, your instinct is often to dive into the waves with them. You believe that is how you show support, by sharing their suffering directly. But the reality is that if you both go under, nobody is helped. Instead, start practicing a new, more sustainable mental habit. When you encounter someone else's suffering, stay grounded on the shore. You can still listen and care deeply. But repeat this phrase internally: I recognize this pain, but it does not belong to me. This simple affirmation creates a healthy, protective boundary. You offer them a lifeline through your steady, calm presence. But you don't jump into the deep end, risking your own stability. Imagine a lifeguard. They don't drown with the swimmer. They maintain their composure to be effective. You don't have to suffer alongside them to be a compassionate person. True compassion often means holding space, not carrying the burden. Remaining stable is what actually gives you the capacity to help them over the long haul. This approach preserves your energy, allowing you to be a consistent source of aid. It builds resilience, not just for you, but for those you support. In addition to not absorbing emotions, the most vital defensive tool for your communication is the pause protocol for sensitive individuals. Because of your sensitivity, you can instantly detect someone's disappointment if you decline a request, even before they voice it. This makes saying no feel like a form of psychological torture, an unbearable weight on your conscience. Consequently, you end up saying yes to every task and every social invitation you don't actually want to attend. This pattern inevitably leads to burnout and a deep sense of self-resentment, eroding your personal peace. Starting today, adopt a new guideline. Never agree immediately to anything that requires your time or focus. Instead, use this standard phrase, a simple yet powerful shield. Let me check my schedule and get back to you. That single sentence acts as the protective glass of your psychological greenhouse, creating a vital boundary. It creates the necessary space for your logical mind to evaluate the situation instead of reacting impulsively. This prevents your people-pleasing reflex from automatically approving everything, safeguarding your energy. When you give yourself a moment to breathe, you will realize that declining a plan when you're exhausted isn't a catastrophe. It's a necessary act of self-care, a conscious decision to protect your well-being. People who truly value you will honor that boundary, understanding your need for rest and personal space. They will respect your decision because they care about your health, not just your availability. Not providing an instant answer is the most intelligent way to safeguard your well-being and maintain your energy levels. This simple technique gives you control over your time and emotional landscape, preventing unnecessary depletion. Finally, for your greenhouse to be truly secure, you must become a vigilant gatekeeper of your social circle. Not everyone deserves an invitation into your private space, your sanctuary of peace. Some individuals are essentially energy vampires, draining your vitality with every interaction. After spending time with them, you feel completely hollowed out, like a balloon that's lost its air and collapsed. They might not be bad people in the conventional sense, but their personal frequency is toxic to your nervous system. Their presence disrupts your inner calm and leaves you feeling agitated and drained. Perform a quick audit after every social interaction, a mental check-in with yourself. Ask yourself, do I feel lighter or heavier after seeing this person? Be honest with your answer. If the answer is consistently heavier, a recurring sense of burden, then it's time to adjust. Start dialing back how often you interact, slowly, gently, but firmly creating distance. You are not obligated to heal every person in the world. That is a responsibility too vast for any single individual. Your purpose is not to be a universal therapist or an endless well of emotional support. You don't need to keep everyone in your life just to validate your own worth. Your worth is inherent. True validation comes from within, from honoring your own needs and boundaries. Your greenhouse should be reserved for the connections that truly matter, the ones that uplift you. These are the relationships that bring warmth and light into your existence, nurturing your spirit. They are the sun and water for your psychological garden, helping you flourish and grow. Prioritize these connections and allow them to fill your life with genuine joy and positive energy. Remember, your emotional well-being is a precious resource that deserves careful protection and cultivation. By implementing these strategies, you create a sanctuary where your sensitive nature can thrive. A place where you are safe, nurtured, and truly yourself, free from the burdens of others. Now, there is a reality you must confront directly, a truth that often remains unspoken. If you continue living as you are now, without shielding your nervous system or adjusting your environment, the toll won't be obvious immediately. like a hidden crack in a foundation. But it will eventually arrive, a slow, inevitable accumulation. At the start, it just feels like a persistent, vague exhaustion, a low hum of tiredness. You might get enough sleep, 8 hours or more, yet you never feel truly refreshed. It's like charging your phone, but it only ever reaches 50%. You perform your work and talk to people, going through the motions. But underneath it all, there is a constant, quiet layer of burnout that you can't quite pin down. It's like an invisible weight, always present. Over time, you grow accustomed to this state, this new normal. You begin to believe that being drained is just your baseline, your natural state of being. When you remain in a state of overload for too long, your nervous system attempts to protect itself. It does this by turning down its own sensitivity, like dimming a bright light. This is when you start losing your capacity to feel things deeply, to truly engage. Activities that used to bring you joy now seem uninteresting, like a favorite song played too many times. Experiences that once moved you now feel far away, distant echoes. This isn't because you have fundamentally changed as a person. It's because your nervous system is simply too exhausted to maintain that level of depth. You don't break down all at once. You just slowly fade, like an old photograph. You have less energy, a constant low-grade fatigue, less of a sense of connection, feeling adrift, and less of your true self, a diminished reflection. That is the genuine cost of ignoring your needs, the silent erosion. It isn't just that you're more tired than others, though that is true. It's that you lose the very qualities that make you unique, your distinct sparkle. Your ability to feel, to truly experience life, to connect deeply with others, forming meaningful bonds, and to live with profound depth and enriching existence. Eventually, this constant state of being overwhelmed moves from the emotional to the physical, manifesting as tangible discomforts. You might experience unexplained pains, like phantom aches, sleep disturbances, waking frequently, or struggling to fall asleep, or chronic muscle tension, a perpetual knot of stress. These aren't random issues. They are your body's way of shouting after being ignored for far too long. Building your greenhouse, therefore, isn't just a lifestyle choice to feel better. It is a requirement for not losing your identity in a world that wasn't built for your specific mechanics. Every time you choose to rest, truly replenish your energy. Every time you establish a boundary, a clear line in the sand. And every time you defend your peace, your inner sanctuary, you aren't being weak, you are being profoundly wise. You are preserving the most vital parts of who you are before they are eroded without you even noticing. All of these practical solutions eventually lead to one major transition in how you view your life. You have to stop living on autopilot. You might find yourself thinking, but isn't this a bit selfish? Why do I have to make things so complex when everyone else handles it just fine? This is the most perilous mental trap for sensitive individuals. The urge to become normal by following the crowd's standards. Face the reality. The modern world was built by dandelion-type people, for dandelions. If you choose to follow their rules, you will inevitably burn out. You cannot win a game designed for someone else by playing by their playbook. To do more than just survive, to truly flourish, you must live with intention. You need to become a master manager of your own sensitive biological system. Living intentionally means you carefully choose what you allow your eyes to see, who you allow into your time, and what settings you choose to enter. You are no longer a victim of your environment. You become the architect of it. Do not look at the resilience of others and criticize yourself for being too much. Take pride in the fact that you can perceive deep values and subtle nuances that they might never even notice. When you finally accept that you are an orchid, you stop the painful attempt to transform into a dandelion. That is the moment your true strength begins to manifest. This world is becoming increasingly mechanical and detached. It desperately needs your sensitivity, your empathy, and your emotional depth to remain human. So, what does all of this mean for your life right now? It means a profound shift is within reach. When you construct your own personal greenhouse, something truly remarkable begins to occur. You stop viewing yourself as inherently fragile or perpetually overly emotional. Instead, you begin to experience a powerful surge of creative energy. A profound level of empathy emerges, making others feel truly seen and understood. And you discover a unique perspective that very few individuals truly possess. There is absolutely nothing broken about your inherent nature. You simply require the correct, nurturing environment to develop. An environment where you can flourish in the specific way you were always intended to. You are perceiving the vast world with a level of intricate detail, a depth of perception that most people completely miss and overlook. Once you learn how to safeguard that delicate and powerful system, you will start to see just how vibrant and stunning this world can truly be. Do not wait for a mythical better time to start making these crucial changes. Right now, in this very moment, pick one small, actionable step. Begin the construction of your greenhouse with that single, intentional choice. It could be finally ordering those high-quality, noise-canceling headphones, creating a personal sanctuary of sound in a chaotic world. It could be finding the internal resolve to say, "I'll get back to you," establishing a boundary against a draining, overwhelming request. Or it could simply be taking 5 minutes to sit in complete silence, closing your eyes, breathing deeply, and finding inner peace, quietly thanking your remarkable nervous system for its incredible work, for allowing you to experience life so vividly, so profoundly. You don't have to be a dandelion to achieve true, lasting success. Be the most resilient, most radiant orchid within the greenhouse, the unique, protected environment you meticulously build for yourself. When you grow in the right setting, your true value will become abundantly clear. Clear to everyone around you, and most importantly, clear to yourself. The overwhelming intensity you constantly feel is not an error in your design, but a profound way of experiencing life. You are simply carrying a delicate and highly tuned sensory instrument through a world that values loud and forceful endurance. It is time to entirely release the heavy guilt you carry for stepping away to recharge your exhausted nervous system. You are completely allowed to construct a quiet personal greenhouse instead of forcing yourself to survive in the barren desert. What is one incredibly subtle boundary you can set tomorrow to protect the sacred space inside your mind? If this resonated with you, please share a brief sentence in the comments about the gentle boundaries you are building. May you softly navigate this incredibly chaotic world with a newfound reverence for your own beautiful sensitivity.